we went into segment addition, which was on chapter 1 test. It's like piece plus piece equals whole. This is the same idea. Turn it into the bin. So it's the same idea, piece plus piece equals whole, but instead of a line segment, we're doing angles, okay? So you're thinking the same method. So this is number 15, put today's date, which is 9/6. Today's class period is 6. Okay, angle addition postulate. So using this picture, I'm going to say if D is on the interior of ABC, D is on the inside of ABC, I can say angle ABD, which is this little angle. If I were to add the angle next to it, DBC, what angle would it be equal to? ABC. ABC. So the idea is still the same. You're doing little piece plus little piece equals the whole thing. So this is going to be angle ABC. Okay. So let's start with number 1. It says if the measure of angle ABD is 48. We're going to take that when in doubt. We're going to draw it out. We're going to put it in our picture. We don't literally have to draw it. We're just going to add it to our picture. So ABD is 48. So ABD is 48 degrees. I know DBC, the measure, people are like, there's no M in the picture. M means measure. M is not in your picture. So DBC is 78. You just add them because it wants the measure of ABC. So once again, I'm taking piece, I'm adding the other piece, and it equals to the whole thing. So what is my answer for this one? 126. We're going to do the same thing for number 2. It's going to be a little bit hard because we're going to use the same picture. So basically disregard the numbers you already have in your picture. We're going to do the same thing. It says if the measure of angle DBC is 74. So DBC this time is 74 degrees. So kind of cross out your 78 if you want. And then I know ABC is 119. So this time I know the whole thing is 119 degrees. So you would subtract because you're doing little piece, which you don't know, plus 74 equals 119, or 119 minus 74. So if I subtract those, what do I get? 45. And technically you're supposed to have your little degrees next to it. If you don't put that, it's fine. But like, no, it's technically a degrees. So let's use the same ideas to do number 3. So number 3 says if the measure of angle PQR is 141, find each measure. You have this picture. A lot of people will just jump to the picture and be like, okay, let me just do the math. You have to take this information and you got to put it in your picture. So P to Q to R is the whole thing. It's 141 degrees. What would be the equation that I would write out to solve for X if I'm using the same concepts? Tell me. Beautiful. Nice. So you're doing little angle plus little angle equals the whole thing. So in this case, it's 141 is my total. So at this point, you could solve this a bunch of different ways. I'm going to combine like terms because it will make your life easier in the long run. You could add one here and then add one here. But most of you, the problem is if you make a mistake on this kind of problem, I'm going to like do this in pencil. Do not write this. So if I add one here and then most of you will move over here and put a little +1 underneath that. And then you're like, aha, and bring it down to 5. That's not what you're doing. You cannot do that. The reason why is because they're on the same side of the equal sign together. So instead of combining like terms like that, you literally just go straight across and you combine like terms. So if I combine my 13x and my 10x, what am I bringing down? 23x. And then I'm going straight across. I have 4 and I'm subtracting 1. So what am I bringing down? 3. Plus 3. It's +3, so that's why I'm bringing down a plus sign. Because people will be like, is it a minus sign or is it a plus sign? It's a +3, so you're bringing down a +3 equals 141. And now it's a 2-step equation from 7th grade. So I'm going to -3 to both sides. and then I'm going to divide. So 23x equals 1, what is this, 38? And then divide. So if you divide by 23, what do you get for x? What is it? 6. Okay, good. So on the test, I have not passed them back out yet because people still are not done with it. Some people have also been absent. So we need to plug this back in. If you got problems wrong on the test, it's most likely most people did not plug things back in. So it says find the measure of PQS. So if I go back to my picture, PQS is 13x plus 4. I'm going to write it out, but you don't need to when you're doing this. You could literally just plug it into the calculator. PQS is 13x plus 4. I'm substituting my answer back in. So I'm plugging 6 in. So I really have 13 times 6, and I'm adding 4. So in a calculator, if I multiply and I add, what do I get? 82. So PQS is 82. Now, how am I going to find SQR? 10 times 6 minus 1. And this is what I mean by like you could plug it into the calculator. You're doing 10 times 6, you're minusing 1. What is that going to give me? 59. And so I'm okay if like you're not showing work for your plugging back in because I know you can use the calculator, but you need to show work for this. Also, you could have, if you know that this angle is 82 degrees, what could you have done with these two numbers to also get 59? Subtract it. So you could just minus it. So if you know that this is 82, this is 141, they got to add to make 141. So you could just subtract it or plug it back in. I don't really care what you do, as long as you get the answer. So take a second, try number 4. You're going to take your information and you're going to put it in your picture. The picture is there to help. So when in doubt, draw it out, put your stuff in your picture. Okay, so there's my picture. Does anybody think they know the equation? Piece plus piece equals whole. Can anybody tell me what the whole thing is equal to? 7x plus 4. If you're writing an equation, it should not be equal to 23. What is it equal to? Or tell me your equation. Yeah, tell me the equation. Beautiful. I'm going to write it a different way, but that's also correct. So 5x plus 1 plus 23 equals 7x plus 4. As long as you have these two together being added together, and then you have this one on the other side, it doesn't matter what, if you reverse it or if you put it in a different order, it doesn't matter. Okay. So I'm going to draw my little line. I have two things over here. I can't combine them. It's a 7x and it's a 4. And then over here, I have a 5x and I have a 1 and I have a 23. So what two things can come together? 23 and 1, because they're both numbers. So I can literally just add them together. They're both positive. So what am I actually bringing down? 24. So I actually have 5x plus 24. And then do you want to move the 4 or the 24? The 4, because it's smaller. It doesn't matter though. You'd get the same answer. So I'm going to subtract 4, subtract 4. 5x plus 20 equals 7x. Because I decided to move the 4, what would have to move next? The 5x. On the test, another thing that a lot of people got wrong besides just plugging it back in, a lot of people minus 7x to both sides, and then like your equal sign's like gone. You can't just move your equal sign around the problem. Okay. So if you move something on the left side, then you got to go on the right side next. It kind of goes back and forth. So I have a cross here and then I have a cross here. So 20 equals 2x divided by 2. So you get what? X equals 10. So take a second, plug it back in, and try to find your other two angles for this problem if you haven't already. You should be trying, not just copying. Okay, what do we get? Yeah, 51. Okay. So if that's 51, you could plug 10 into the other one and just add it, like multiply and add. Or you can think if this is 51 and that's 23, what do I get no matter what? 74. Okay, try number 5. We're only doing 2 more on the notes. We're going to do 5 and we're going to do 6. Okay, so try 5. If you're done with 5, you can move on. We're only going to number 6. We're not doing all of the notes. We're not going to cross any out though, but like try number 5. Put your information in your picture. When in doubt, use the picture. Draw it out. Put it in the picture. Can anybody tell me the equation? I know you guys are probably working on it, but what's the equation? Tell me. Nice. So this is your equation or something along these lines. You're doing angle plus angle equals whole. Your whole is 10x minus 11. So you should be combining this. Most people during first period combined these and they were like, it's 63. You should not be bringing down a 63. What should you bring down? 23. Because numbers and numbers go together. 43 minus 20 is positive 23. And then you get to choose, you get to move the numbers. Either 11 or 23's got to go. 11 because it's negative. Let's get rid of the negative. So I'm going to add 11. Numbers go with numbers. So I have 8x plus 34 equals 10x. And then because I chose to move the 11, what's going to move now? The 8. So I'm going to minus it because it's positive. So 34 equals 2x. Divide by 2. And you get x equals what? 17. And then you got to plug it back in. So now that I know x is 17, I'm going to plug it back into MKL to start. MKL is 8x minus 20. I'm substituting 17 in. So I'm actually in a calculator. You can just plug it all in at once. 8 times 17. And then I'm subtracting 20. So what do I get for that answer? 116. So now you can either use your equation to plug it into the big one, or you can think, this is 116. I know that this one's 43. What's the other one gonna have to be? Anybody? 159. Because you can add them, or you can plug it back in. 10 times 17 minus 11. Okay, so try to set up number 6. Last problem we're gonna do together. So flip your paper, try number 6, put your information in your picture. Okay, so that's the information in our picture. Is it what? So that's what most people are going to do. So you're going to be like, this equals this because they only give me two things. So if they only give me two things, then must be equal to each other. Yeah. Because this is an obtuse angle. The good thing about geometry is like you can look at the pictures unless it says not drawn to scale. You can assume like this is going to be bigger than this. They're not equal. This is obtuse. This is acute. They're not the same. So what am I adding? The straight angle DEF whoop, is a straight angle, which is 180 degrees because it's a straight line. Yeah, gotta read the words. If they give you something random like that and they're like, why am they telling me this? This is silly. It's probably because they want you to know it. Okay. So it's a straight line. So in total, it makes 180. So you're doing little piece plus little piece equals 180. So try to write your equation, try to solve it. I'm going to freeze my screen. So you should try your own problem. Don't wait for me because I'm not going to leave it up here for long. So write your equation. You're doing the green plus the pink equals 180. What? Oh, no, not yet. Just start on the homework. So it should always simplify to a two-step equation. What'd you get for X? Oh, okay, good. Keep going. Plug it back in. Okay, what did we get? Are you ready to see my answers? Okay, you should get 5. Okay, then if you plug your 5 back in, you should get 112. That means this angle is 112. If this is 112, you could either plug X into this one and get it, or you could subtract 112 from 180. You get 68 for the pink. And then the whole line is 180 because they tell you DEF. DEF is 180 because it's opening all the way. How'd we do? Did we do okay? No, we didn't do good. Did you get X? Okay, hold on. Okay, so on the homework paper, don't scribble out the rest of this. You're gonna leave it. On the homework paper, we are only doing the front side. So don't scribble out anything because if I feel like we need more practice on this on Monday, these are the papers we're gonna use. So don't scribble out anything. If you want on your homework paper, put front only or scribble the homes you gotta do. Oh. You said that. Yeah, they tell you that this is like all right. So there's 117. So that big angle, yeah. That right angle is 90. So on here, We're gonna skip the rest. If we might go back to this, don't scroll anything out. On your homework paper, which is number 16, you're doing the front only. And then that way you have classwork time to do it in class. You did not finish your IXLs. Maybe you should do that. If you have your IXL work, you should turn that in. Yes. Your what? Yeah. Oh, you're good. Is the size. The size of the one. Yeah.